What's up, soldiers? Chris here, CaribbeanPot.com. Always a pleasure having you guys here in the kitchen with me. Yeah, we harvested that bodi in the backyard. We came inside and we did curry bodi with shrimp and potato. Stay tuned, you're gonna love this one, man. The first thing we've got to do is to sort of season and marinate the shrimp while we prep the bodi. You know, I got quite a bit of bodi out of the backyard there. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use half in this recipe and I'm gonna do half to share one of those meat-free Monday recipes, a vegan recipe. So I'm going to hold back on half of this. But for now, let's season the shrimp. And to do so is very simple. A tablespoon and a half of olive oil. And we want a heaping tablespoon of Caribbean green seasoning. And Caribbean green seasoning, if you're new to Caribbean cooking and the culinary culture of the Caribbean, is basically a puree or a blend. I do it in my food processor of all the herbs, along with garlic and seasoning peppers and everything like that we like using in our dishes. From meat dishes to fish dishes, vegetarian dishes, we always use that. And I do mine in olive oil, and that's why it's that lovely color there. No preservatives or anything like that. And boom bam, I seal it up and it's in my fridge. If you're looking for that recipe, head over to CaribbeanPot.com. But all I'm going to do now is give this a stir, and we'll just set it aside while we prep the bodi. It is so simple, you know, it's one of them quick ways to marinate with a ton of flavor. And we don't want to allow this to marinate for too long. This is not one of them overnight thing, because it will start cooking the shrimp, and the last thing we want to do is to start cooking that shrimp with all that niceness that's in there. Prepping the bodi is incredibly simple. All you would do is you would take the ends, line them all up together on your board, and then give that a cut. This part will go into the rubbish, and then you get to decide how big pieces you like. I like 1-inch pieces, so all I'm doing is cutting it into 1-inch pieces. Took a couple minutes. It's all prepped now, and I have it in water because you wash it after, and I'm just leaving it in water to keep it nice and fresh while I prep my garlic, my onion, my habanero pepper, and that sort of stuff. Now here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't have access to bodi, or maybe you have a different type of bodi, you can use string bean, French beans, any one of those sort of beans that you like using. Feel free to jump on that, all right? The recipe works with all these different things. We got a warm pot, medium flame. I'm just going to go in with the shrimp. And the reason why we're starting with the shrimp here is, one, I don't want to overcook it, so I will add it back to the pot later on. And two, we want that shrimp flavor to be there from the start of this recipe. So all we're doing here is, I guarantee you, maybe 1 minute per side. We're going to flip them over and then remove them from the pot. Yeah, we haven't put any salt or black pepper or anything yet. That will go in after, but rest assured, there is a ton of flavor in that Caribbean, in my Caribbean green seasoning anyways. Garlic, thyme, scallion, chives. What else is in there? Seasoning peppers or pimento peppers. We got a ton of garlic in there. Parsley, cilantro. I'm telling you, that there is packed with flavor. Turn the heat down to low. It's going to go back into the same bowl we marinated it in, because it's not 100% cooked yet, so there will be no cross-contamination. Later on, we'll finish cooking it, so don't worry too much about that, right? Take that out. Crank the heat back up to medium. That there lives a ton of flavor. What we're going to do is give it another tablespoon and a half of that olive oil. If you want to use vegetable oil, canola oil, coconut oil, you can certainly use it. Coconut oil will be a great addition in here. A medium onion sliced up, and 4 cloves of garlic, all chunky. I like my curry spicy, so I've got a small habanero pepper, seeds and everything. If you want to cut back on the heat level, you can certainly use less. If you don't want any, you don't have to. And at the end of the day, use what you like and what you can source. So if all you can source is Scotch bonnet pepper, I mean to say, rock the Scotch bonnet pepper. I might just have all this stuff in the garden there. And you know that garlic is from my garden, the habanero pepper is from my garden. And I like using habanero peppers because they have that heat that you would get with a Scotch bonnet pepper, but you got that fruitiness, that sort of nice flavor from it. Wash your hands with soap and water after handling that pepper. It is very important you do that, or you may suffer the consequences. We're going to cook this down on low now. I turn my heat back down to low. Everything nice and soft. The onions and garlic and everything is soft now. We don't want to burn it. And your kitchen should have that lovely aroma, a combination of all those herbs, the garlic, the onion, the little bit of shrimp in there. Man, it's just pure niceness in there. Here's where now you're going to go in with your favorite curry powder. And we need a tablespoon and a half of that curry powder in there. That is my own blend. There's some good stuff out of the Caribbean. I love the sort of Madras sort of blends out of Trinidad and Tobago. So if you know, you know. But use your own. Now, if you're doing this thing gluten-free, pay attention to the label of the curry powder that you're using. Some of them may tend to have flour as a filler and a thickener. So be mindful of that. We're going to give this 2 minutes. And we're sort of wet toasting it here in that oil fry to cook out the, not to cook out the rawness, but to bloom the spices which makes up a good curry powder. And I'll just give you guys a nice little tight up there. We went to the opposite direction for a second. Uncle Chris ain't going mad, but a couple minutes. Kitchen should be smelling ivory now. You will notice it has gone dark. And the bottom of the pot would be sort of caked on with that curry on the bottom there. And here's where we're going to deglaze it with a 1/3 cup of water, and we're sort of going to scrape the bottom there. That is the fond. Yeah, curry have fond too, F-O-N-D, and we want to scrape up all that goodness on the bottom there. And we're going to add some more flavors of a good Caribbean, aka Trinbagonian curry, which are some anchar masala and some roasted geera or cumin. Now, if you would like to me to show you guys how to make this, I make this for myself as well too, that roasted geera, leave me a comment down below and I'll show you guys how simple it is. Fullest of ingredients down below, yeah? So don't forget that. But we want to cook this off now. And earlier I went too quick on the draw, and I said cook out the rawness of the curry. This is where actually we're cooking out the rawness of that curry. If you don't cook that rawness out of the curry, you will get it in the sort of a gritty taste later on, and it just won't taste good. Low heat, and we're going to cook that off until we burn off all that liquid. There's a ton of action happening here. All that liquid has gone. It took about 4 minutes. We're going to start seeing the oils that we started off with, and that's exactly what we want. This is all about flavor, ladies and gentlemen. Now, if you recall, I have the Bodi. I'm going to crank my heat up to medium-high. I had the Bodi soaking in water. So we're just adding it there. Try to shake off most of that water. Anyways, but the water is good because we need it to pull together everything. Then we're going to stir and start coating the pieces of Bodi with that curry. Yeah, everybody's seen the tablespoon I'm using, and you know the amount of heat I get for using the spoon. I like using, ladies and gentlemen. It is unreal how petty people can get. Anyhow, back to the recipe. Now, the other thing I like doing, and this is especially good if you don't have a lot and you want to stretch it for more people. Now, this is something you will eat with rice or roti, a hot sada roti. Check out CaribbeanPot.com for that sada roti recipe, or basaf shot or paratha, or any kind of roti you want. It's on CaribbeanPot.com. If you like to stretch it, we're going to go in with some potato. Potato, curry, Bodi, all goes together nicely. And as we did when we added the Bodi, we're going to hit that to stir. Just want to coat everything with that curry niceness, as I said. And you got to appreciate a nice curry. The smell, sometimes it's not for everyone, I'll be honest with you, because some curry is really rank, I ain't gonna lie. But you see a good Caribbean curry, yo, there's nothing quite like it. And no disrespect to anybody else and their culture and the way they make their curry, but the Caribbean curry, boy, I'm telling you. Black pepper time. And we need salt. Remember, we didn't add any salt yet. Give that another stir. With a lovely bubble happening, we need water to bring it all together to get it nice and tender. So we got that water in there. Just gonna give that a shake. I'm gonna bring it up to a boil. I'm gonna put the lid on and I'm gonna turn my heat down to a simmer to allow it to cook to get nice and tender. We got that bubble going, heat low. Before I put the lid on, I'm gonna go in with a couple pieces. And the only reason why it's hard like that is because it's in the refrigerator. I store it in the refrigerator, and that is coconut cream. Now here's the thing, I am not the biggest fan of coconut milk in my curry. If you want to leave it out, you can leave it out. The other side to that, if you wanted to use only coconut milk instead of water, as I added there, you can do that as well. But you see that 1 tablespoon of coconut milk there? That's gonna melt and it's gonna do all niceness in there. That's gonna add a lovely flavor to the dish. Lid on and let it cook. It's been going out for 20 minutes. And I stirred it a couple times already. Here's where you're gonna personalize things. First off, you want to give them potato a sort of a breakthrough there with your spoon or your knife, whatever, as long as it's tender, which means fully cooked. You want to make sure the bodi is fully cooked, so it's going nice and limp there. That means it's cooked, which is good. The only thing is, you have to control now if you want gravy or not. I'm going to cook this down just a tiny bit more. If you're eating this with rice, you will want some gravy. And you want to taste it at this point for salt. Keep in mind, when you taste it for salt, if it's a little bit on the salty side, small thing, because we have to add back the shrimp to here. You know, in about 2 minutes, I'm going to add the shrimp to here. But remember, we didn't add any salt to the shrimp. It was just that green seasoning and the olive oil. So we got to kind of compensate for that. But for now, a couple more minutes with the lid off, because I'm trying to thicken it up a little bit. And then we're good. Once you're happy with the consistency of the gravy, everything is nice and tender. This is where we're going to scrape all that shrimp back into the pot now. Sup, soldiers? Listen, if you enjoy this recipe, I'd really appreciate it if you hit subscribe and click that bell notification thing. If you've made the recipe, take a picture and send it to me. Email address down here. I mean, trying to tell people the email address, them butts will take the address and do all kind of thing with it. And tag me on Instagram at Caribbean Pot. I really appreciate you guys, and thanks for being in my kitchen with me today. Irene? Everything is warmed through, my salt, my everything is perfect. Everything is nice and tender. And you know, one of the things about curry dishes, they're not the prettiest thing in the world. But I'm telling you, man, you'll be hard pressed to find anything more delicious. I, man, personally like finishing it with a little cilantro. If you have shadow benny and you want to hit it that little shadow benny, by all means do that. If you don't have it, well, no scene, no problem. Give that a quick stir. Turn the heat off. Boom, bam, heat off. Chris here, CaribbeanPot.com. Always a pleasure having you guys here in the kitchen with me. Yeah, man. Curry bodi with shrimp and potato. You're gonna love this, yeah? Give it a try, man.